In a free society, the people are united and set up a government that is divided, with adversarial branches thwarting each other so that no one department may predominate and lead to a dictatorship. In a despotism, by contrast, the government is united and the people are divided, with the state pitting them against each other. Speaking of governments, in the infancy of a nation, there's a motive force as it expands. As expansion peters out, the state no longer has the centripetal force to keep its people and institutions in place. As it slows, they slip over each other and slam into oblivion. Think of it like the frame of reference in a train car, where inertia makes everything seem like it's static. Then you look out the window and realize that you're actually traveling at a massive rate of speed. Inside, however, everything seems stationary because you're moving at a constant rate of speed. This illusion is broken, however, when the train finally slams on the brakes, and suddenly everything flies into chaos. Countries are just like that. As they expand outward, there's a certain stability inside the nation. Think of how in the 18th century we expanded outward with the Louisiana Purchase. It more than doubled the size of the United States. Then in the 19th century, under President Polk, we had an almost as sizable expansion in the western part of the United States. By the 20th century, however, territorial growth started to stall. We plateaued as we acquired Arizona, New Mexico, Hawaii, and Alaska. By the 21st century, we're at a saturation point. What happens when the train stops? It's kind of like what happens when a shark stops. Things start to go off kilter. In the expansion period, aggression can be focused outward, like toward the Redcoats or the Native Americans on the plains. As external enemies dry up, that aggression gets turned inward. The state, once dedicated to protecting the populace, now sees the populace as the enemy. The full force of the government turns on its own people. Thomas Hobbes, in his classic of political science, Leviathan, in the 1600s, said that the most stable form of government was monarchy. Republics, he said, were unstable for the fact that in a monarchy, everyone knows who's in charge. The king. In a republic, however, where anyone can potentially become leader, internecine fighting breaks out. Different factions are at each other's throats. This is exacerbated by the fact that in republics, the different branches are purposely pitted against each other in an adversarial relationship. The only time a republic is at peace, Hobbes says, is when it has an external enemy. Hence why a nation like the United States has almost been constantly at war since its inception. Without that external enemy, we tend to turn on each other. A fact, as I alluded to earlier, made worse by a governing structure that now rules by pitting the people against each other. Intelligence agencies love using racism and claims of white supremacy to set people at each other's throats. As I said, in a free society, the people are united and the government is purposely divided, while in a despotism, the government is united and the people are purposely divided. The New American Magazine is guided by our support of the U.S. Constitution and the principles upon which that document is based. We want to restore and retain the values and vision that made America great: limited government, the freedoms that our Constitution guarantees, and the personal responsibility that a free people must exercise to stay free. To learn more, subscribe to our magazine. Visit thenewamerican.com.